This is a simple example of an application that uses a web worker to calculate a series of prime numbers. This is running on my server. Of course, you will be running it on your own server, or you can set up a server on your local machine using something like XAMPP. The way this works is once you press the start button, a signal is sent to a worker that starts a timer and calculates a series of prime numbers 15 times per second to match the speed of these videos. So if I press this start button, we see that it starts calculating prime numbers. For each prime that's found, the worker sends a message back to the main JavaScript thread with the result, which is then displayed using an HTML5 output tag. So let's take a look at how the code works. I'm going to press this stop button now. And here's the HTML file. I'm just going to scroll through it first for you so that those of you who are typing along can do that. We'll scroll off to the side here. That's a little bit tricky to do. There we go. And we can see the way that this works. Down here at the bottom, we have an output tag and a button tab, and that creates this output there, which I have styled with a little bit of a yellow background, and this button that has the start and the stop button. And up here in the JavaScript, you see it starts window.onload equals init. So that starts with this init function, which sets things up, creates the worker object, loads the worker JavaScript. We'll look at that in a second. We'll go into all of this in a lot more detail in the rest of this chapter. This is the little toggle running state function that's called when the button is pressed. You can see down here on click toggle running state. And that's really pretty much all there is to the HTML side and its little bit of JavaScript. The real work is done here in worker prime series.js. This is the JavaScript that actually does the work and is loaded as the worker. So I'll scroll through this one here for you real quick. And you can see we're calculating prime numbers with a little cheater least factor function to find the least factor. And it does a lot of it with constants. This is really the fastest way to find prime numbers in JavaScript anyway. There's an isPrime function that checks to see if a given number is prime or not. And then in this event handler for handling the message events, it steps through this global variable n, and there you see where it's incremented. And for each one, it calls that isPrime to find out whether or not it's a prime number. And when it finds a prime number, it uses postMessage to send it back to the calling page. So this is just a simple example of a web worker that calculates a series of prime numbers. We'll get into the details of how this works in the rest of this course.